Good morning, it's Tricia with Easy Emini Trade, and I want to go over Thursday, January 28th. And if you'd like more information on the setups, you can go to www.easyemintrade.com. And just wanted to remind you that with the purchase of the ebook and setups, you do get 3 days in the education room, which I would think that you would find helpful. So as you know, we've been willing to trade the NQ Emini, the ES Emini, and the Euro future. And I'll tell you what, the NQ is turning into our new best friend. And we've done a lot of trades this week, and they've all happened to have been on the NQ, I think maybe with the exception of one. And not for any reason other than it sets up first. And we know that usually the NES will lead, but there were times when you might have been getting a setup on the ES where there just wasn't enough room to be profitable and so on. So it just turns out that we've been taking most of the trades the last few days, actually the last 2 weeks on the NQ. So we start out, we open, and we're closed right outside the channel, so we know like the first 3 minutes we're willing to take an entry. Put our order in under that very first bar, and the next bar doesn't fill it. It doesn't trade to our entry price. But it's still a valid setup. We're still closed outside the channel. So leave the order in place, it gets filled, and away we go. So right off the bat, we had a trade that we were very happy with. Next opportunity was right here, and this was at 10:08. We actually were willing to get in under this bar here, but you'll notice that it never traded to our entry price, which is a quarter under that bar, and then it closed back inside the channel. So then we get closed back outside the channel. We're willing to take it. Everything's in line. So we take it expecting that we might get a little bit of a pause in this area here. And so we take it. Works out again very nicely, and we're very pleased with that one. And we then have an opportunity here, and this is 10:48. Actually, I was so busy talking that I missed it. I missed this entry here. Quite a few people got it, but unfortunately I didn't get this entry here. But if you did, it was a valid setup. Enter in under here. Know that you might have a little bit of a stall here at this area below you, but nonetheless plenty of room to that area. Luckily I did get another opportunity. We pull back to the channel, and this bar here we're still closed outside the channel, so I entered in under here. So a little worse than I could have done if I got in here, but still worked out to be a nice trade nonetheless. And this is at 2:02. Actually, you get closed outside the channel here, and it never triggers. You have your order in under this bar here, you close back inside the channel, so you cancel your order. This bar here, we close outside the channel, and everything's in line to take it, but if you notice here, we're now back under the 20 line. But I didn't really notice that until after the fact, because we were, it's just above 20 when when we take that entry, but I mean it's questionable. I have to admit it's questionable. So we get in, and basically we're going sideways forever, going nowhere before it finally does decide to drop. But this was questionable. I will admit that was definitely questionable. Probably the better entry would have been here. You wouldn't obviously had to sit through all this sideways stuff, but regardless, it worked out nonetheless. And we did a test entry for a trendline break on the NQ, and I say a test entry because we don't have any, I haven't done any, so I don't have the criteria worked out for entry price, like how much above the bar do I want to get in, and how much below the bar, in this case, do I want my stop. So it worked out well for +2, +4. Everything's in line to take it, so just kind of have to iron it out a little bit, but that was only taken as a test. That was not something that we're willing to do just yet. However, with that said, on the ES you did have a couple trendline breaks to the upside if you were willing to take those, and this one here was basically during lunch. You did get closed above the trend line on this bar. You got closed above both moving averages. Your MACD's in line, your indicator's in line here, so you're fine, you're good to go. Now I will point out that just above this area here is 50% retracement based on the cash market high and low. I don't have it marked, but it's just above here. So if somebody were to take this, they would know that they're likely going to have some issue in that area, but it worked out nonetheless. Here at what time is that? That was at 2:48. Actually, when the bar finished was 2:53. So you have an entry here. This is basically the same time as the one I showed you on the NQ. Everything's in line to take it. MACD's in line. Your indicator here's in line. You're closed above the channel, above both moving averages, so you're good to go. So that worked out also. And I will point out that when we're taking something on the NQ or the ES, we have been paying attention to make sure that we're not taking something, like let's say we were looking for an entry on the NQ and the ES was just above, let's say, a support area, major support area, like let's say a pivot point. We would wait for the ES to get through that and then look to take our entry on the NQ, because we know if the ES can't get through that area, then the NQ is likely not going to be able to go lower either. And vice versa is true. If we're looking to take something on the ES and the NQ is stuck or coming up to a strong area of support or resistance for that matter, then we wait to get through those areas even though we're not trading on that particular contract. So just might want to take a look at that and time it a little better, and or at least make sure you've got room regardless of which contract you're trading. And I hope that helps.